So I can do a hard pivot here because one of the conspiracy theories I want to talk about, because it's one, there's two actually that in the truther movement that I, especially up here in northern Alberta, seems to be the topic of the day. When we're not talking about COVID and vaccines, we're talking about 5G towers and chemtrails. And I'll give you my thought on chemtrails, and then you can kind of tell me I'm full of shit or not. So at first, the chemtrails. Well, yeah, that's beside the point. On this particular topic, though, yeah. So back and forth. So my thinking on it has evolved. At first, I thought there's no way they're poisoning the sky because they all breathe the same air. So why would they poison themselves and their children? That didn't make sense to me. And then Chris Scott, actually from Whistle Stop Cafe, posted that it was actually cloud seeding was actually in here in Alberta, at least, was to stop hail and crop damage. And so they try to make it rain and they avoid hail. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. Conspiracy is dead as far as I'm concerned. But then I read that it was insurance companies that paid for this to be done because the insurance money, the payouts they'd have to do for the crops would be way too much and would kind of crush the industry. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to pay for the planes to go up and spray the shit into the sky to stop hail. Good. But so we save money. Do we necessarily care what the negative adverse health effects are of that? So I don't think it's the elites are poisoning the sky because they hate us, but there may be an unintended consequence of poisoning whatever, our food, our respiratory systems, whatever the case is, just as a side effect of what they decided to do to save money. I think that's kind of Occam's razor. Like that, I can follow that logically. It makes sense to me, but maybe you know something I don't about this, but that's kind of where I'm at with chemtrails.
Yeah. So chemtrails it's like an onion. You know, there's so many layers. Like, you know the movie, like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I didn't make it through that, but I know the movie.
Yeah. I couldn't finish it either. It was fucking brutal. But yeah. That's pretty much what's going on here. So I think I made a post on this actually. So it was like, in terms of chemtrails broadly, it's like, first, it's like, we've never sprayed anything, bigot. And then second, like, okay, we've sprayed. Second layer is like, okay, we've sprayed sometimes, some places, but only because we had to, a little bit. Bigot. And then third is like, okay, we're doing it a little, but it's like to save the planet. And then the last layer is basically like, well, we're just trying to kill everybody. So that's kind of where I'm at there. So weather manipulation, which is very interesting, is actually hundreds of years old, the practice, right? In the 1800s, they would literally make massive bonfires that would create like storms, right? And Wilhelm Reich, he made the cloudbuster, right? I actually made one so you can like create clouds. But weather modification has been just hundreds of years old. There's hundreds of patents. I should actually post that on Twitter sometime, but there's hundreds of patents about this. So yes, the level one is they're just cloud seeding. And we see in Dubai now that they're not just talking about it like, oh yeah, obviously they cloud seeded and flooded their entire country. It's funny. I was thinking of moving to Dubai, so I'm like really happy.
Yeah. By the way, in El Salvador right now, for anyone that wants to get the heck out of Canada, El Salvador, not only have they arrested basically every tattoo-faced criminal out there, and so it's basically the safest country. It's the safest country in the Western Hemisphere right now. And they've also legalized Bitcoin as legal tender there. Zero tax on foreign investment. You want to move there, you want to start a business there, guess what? Zero tax for you. And so I was actually looking at it. I was like, El Salvador sounds pretty good. But then I look and it has, well, no, you shouldn't, because it has 20 friggin' volcanoes just like in it. I'm like, oh, you're basically a volcano chain country. I don't really like the odds of that. One of them's gonna go off at some point.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, I've been thinking of checking it out though. But yeah, essentially, look, I think the chemtrail program is. I think even the term chemtrails is a bit of a psyop in itself, right? Because there's many different things. Like they've admitted to spraying like nanoparticulates, like nanotechnology. I think it was in the 40s. I found some declassified documents. The U.S. military like sprayed San Francisco like 100 times with like the bubonic plague and other shit just to see like if it would
What
kill
will it
them.
do?
Yeah. Other times there's been like people after spraying, there's like these webs that come down, and then everyone gets flu-like symptoms, and then it's never brought up again. So I think we're actually seeing many different programs. So essentially, the power system is controlling weather around the planet, and I think it's just gone totally off the rails, right? So it's not just cloud seeding. They use like HARP and like Active Auroral Research Project is HARP, and they use high frequencies into the ionosphere, and chemtrails is part of that. When they spray, it basically gives them almost a metal receiver to send high energy beams to manipulate weather patterns. And we've seen this many times, like during the time, when DeSantis was like the only rebel of COVID, they got like 5 hurricanes, and if you actually watch the hurricanes, it's like moving away and then like boom, right into Florida, and so there's Geoengineering Watch. These guys have documented that like these storms are manipulated, and the military, Eisenhower warned about it, right? So yeah, they're controlling the weather worldwide. They're using weather as a weapon. It's just sick stuff. And so, yeah, I think chemtrails is everything from your provincial, exactly as you said, they do cloud seed to stop hail for insurance, but then I think there's other stuff. And I do think there is a depopulation or an immune weakening component as well.
I can see that immune weakening component for sure. Depopulation and immune system. 5G towers. That's a big one. People up here are really annoyed at 5G towers. I learned that Alberta has actually the most amount of 5G towers in Canada out of any province. So we are like the 5G territory here. I actually got this piece of shit phone when I bought it. I purposely got 4G because I'm like, it's not worth the risk for me. I'll just get old 4G. Yeah. So anyway, so I guess I succumbed to it a little bit, but what do you think about 5G towers? Are they innocuous? Are they bad? Do we even know?
Yeah. 5G is a whole thing in itself too. So it's funny, at the beginning there was there's a scientific paper that was published and then it got retracted. It was basically showing like 5G towers can create COVID-like symptoms. And also, if you look up you can do it right now. If you pull the symptoms of radiation sickness, right? Like read them out, and it's basically COVID.
Let me just do that now. Get on my piece of shit phone that I talked about. I use an app called
4G?
Perplexity AI.
Yeah.
It's basically Google search on steroids. So it is still run by what's available to parse through on the internet. But symptoms, what do you say? Symptoms of radiation poisoning?
Yeah.
Poisoning. Based on the search results, key symptoms of radiation poisoning, also known as acute radiation syndrome or radiation sickness, include nausea and vomiting, headache, dizziness and disorientation, weakness and fatigue, diarrhea, fever, bleeding and infections, skin burns, redness, swelling and hair loss, and getting multiple booster shots.
Yeah, and there's also loss of smell. If you go,
oh wow,
loss of smell, radiation. Radiation-related alterations of taste function in patients. Yeah, can't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know. Okay, so 5G. I won't rant too much, but essentially, it's both. People are freaking out for no reason, and they're not freaking out enough at the same time. So I think the towers themselves, it's not in themselves. I don't think they're killing people. There is weird stuff where you see like trees dying and animals like dying around it, but the technology is a weapon. 5G is also a weapon, the frequency, right? The military literally has like microwave cannons that it's basically the 5G frequency that can like, disorient an entire group of people. So
brown noise, they call it brown noise, right?
Yeah, there's the brown note too, yeah, which is, anyways, that's slightly different, but similar type stuff. But so I think basically the level of power that the towers are operating at now, I don't think there's really an issue. They can jack those things up though to be a weapon. And broadly speaking, the technology does exist to create like mass chaos and panic and confusion through cell towers. Like that is a theoretically possible scenario. I'm not saying it is happening. I'm not saying it will ever happen. I'm saying it is theoretically possible. But 5G, basically their whole surveillance state they want to stand up won't exist without the 5G. So for me, I'm just like, I think that's the most worrying aspect of it. But yeah, 5G could be used as a weapon. I don't think it necessarily is. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Do you know who Rob Braxman is? You ever heard that guy?
Yeah.
So
I've talked to him. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I actually want to get him on the podcast because I find him super interesting. But he was talking about 5G phones, and he was saying that with 5G, like basically with a 3G or even 4G, when they want to identify your location, like I don't know, like if you have your GPS turned off, they can still kind of track your phone. But apparently, and I'm not a tech expert, so tech experts out there in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, it can track you within a certain radius, like of accuracy. But 5G, like it's got you right to exactly where you are at the spot. So it's just kind of like honing in exactly on where you are. And for surveillance, it's a bad idea, I think, you know. But I think we're foolish to think that they don't track everything, even 4G. Oh, turn my camera on. 4G, 3G. Like I think we're carrying one of these around. You're driving your car. I think they can track you to where you are. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, of course, dude. Again, this is a plan. It's a plantation, bro. Like you can. I bought one of Rob's phones, the de-googled phones, and you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and I love Rob. You know, I think you can do enough. I don't think there's also always people behind the machine watching. Like I think they're tracking everything. I think they're still trying to figure out how they can use AI to like retroactively come back. You know, I have a feeling they're gonna just start like with AI in like 10 years. They're gonna go through all the dudes like porn history and just like blackmail them. They're like, like auto. Like you just get this email like of all this gross stuff. They're like, you know, you're gonna like call your parents and email all your friends. This is what you've watched. You know. I don't know.
I'll call them, let them know. But since you sent me all this, I gotta have a wank first.
Yeah, my God. Yeah, get off porn, people. That's a
Oh, for real? No, actually, like this is okay. So this is not even a conspiracy. So the owners of Pornhub, MindGeek, or former owners, MindGeek, I think they changed their name from MindGeek to something else. But there was one of those kind of James O'Keefe style undercover videos. You know, like going on a date with this guy and he spills the beans because he wants to get laid, kind of thing. And he was talking about how, get this, and you're probably very aware of this. Anyone not out there aware of this, you will be after this episode. They deliberately push transgender porn and gay porn to men to try and turn them. So they put the chemicals in your water to make you gay, and they make sure the porn you're watching pushes you in that direction. And they're really trying to, well, I don't know why they're doing it, but they're doing it. They're trying to make us fake and gay all around through all methods. So stop watching porn, and I support that message for sure.
Yeah, and it's a Orthodox rabbi who owns it.
Yeah, Jewish rabbi, by the way. Yeah, well, you said rabbi. I guess that I was thinking Orthodox priest. I have that the vision in my head of the Australian priest actually that just got stabbed. Very popular, kind of on the internet even, and he just got attacked by a migrant there. So.